Well, the White House is once again walking back comments from President Biden just one day after Biden warned of a slight recession. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre attempted to clarify what the president really meant.
The president has been pretty consistent, has said multiple times in the past, while a recession is possible, he does not think there will be a recession.
The confusion coming as a new CNN poll finds only 23% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the economy. A full 63% say that they are unhappy with the president's performance here. During the conversation all morning long this morning, Fox Business's Dagan McDowell, Strategic Wealth Partner CEO Mark Tepper, and Fox and Friends First co-host Todd Pyro. Great to see everybody this morning. Well, why would they be happy, Dagan? You've got 40-year high inflation. You've got an economy that is in recession already, and they can't get it straight where we are.
The American people, though, do appreciate when that rare occasion when Joe Biden accidentally tells them the truth about a recession on the way. People know that the economy is in dire straits. Their standard of living is in decline because inflation is still running at the hottest pace it has since Ronald Reagan was in office in the early 80s. The stock market broadly has lost a quarter of its value just this year, and mortgage rates have shot up as the Federal Reserve tries to fight inflation to a 10-year high, and those mortgage rates have more than doubled just this year. But Joe Biden more frequently just lies, and he lies blithely. Yesterday, I just want to quickly point out, Joe Biden said that his son, Beau, lost his life in Iraq.
Oh, my God.
That's stolen valor. His son, Beau, lost his life to brain cancer. He didn't die in Iraq. So he can't even remember. He must be, again, the lies come so easily and quickly and freely. We're just grateful that he occasionally tells us the truth.
Well, I mean, you're so spot on all of that. And what gets me is how he constantly misleads the American people. Case in point, the rail strike, which I have been really so bothered by because he came out and did an entire press conference saying, we have a tentative deal in place. We have a tentative deal, as if there was something to celebrate. I saw right through it. It was a complete lie. There was never a tentative agreement. He simply told the unions, put a pin in it until after the elections. He did the same thing with the Saudis.
Yep.
Put a pin in it.
Yep.
Don't cut production until after the election. So it's really not about telling the truth here and being honest with the American people. It's about power, and it's about misleading until he has his next midterm elections.
Absolutely correct. And then he also said, I think last month inflation was only up an inch. Now there's only a recession by an inch.
Right.
Like it's time and time again. He loves to just kind of peacock around and talk about how great he's doing.
Well, that's an insult to peacocks.
Don't forget that he's also eliminating and depleting the strategic reserve so that he could mislead the American people again as far as oil prices coming down.
And depleting our ammo at the same time.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, it's one thing after the next. But as far as this whole recession thing goes, 90% of America is already in a recession. I mean, when you look at the bottom 90% of wage earners, credit card debt is at an all-time high. They can't afford their utility payments. 1 out of 6 households are behind on utility payments. And there's kind of like this recessionary bifurcation thing that's happening right now, where the top 10% are still kind of holding up somewhat well. If you look at Louis Vuitton yesterday, sales were strong. But then the bottom 90% is really struggling. And those are supposed to be the people that Biden is trying to help. And he's not doing a good job.
That's right, Todd Pyro. That is the whole story of this economy. His bad policies are impacting the people he claims to try to help, but he's actually hurting them with this 40-year high inflation, more so than the rest of the population.
And, of course, when KJP is cornered on that, Karine Jean-Pierre, of course, she'll say things like, we aired. He's been very consistent. He's been very clear. Whenever she does those tells, all you poker players out there, she is the exact opposite, or Joe Biden is doing the exact opposite of being clear, of being consistent. And, again, I always say it when I'm on this program, I'm not the money guy. That's you folks. I'm the news guy. But isn't slight recession sort of like being a little bit pregnant?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, 2 quarters of a recession, 2 quarters of contraction suddenly in this administration is not a recession. A complete opposite from what we've known for decades.